Hello and welcome to MAZDA Goes Racing, and today we're in Raceroom having a look at the On the Edge pack, which is a 3-car pack, only it's got 4 cars in it. So the cars are the McLaren 570S, which is a GT4 car. There's 2 KTM Cross Pro, there's GT2 and a GTX variant. There few differences between the two, and the DPi MAZDA RT24-P. I had to check that because I would never remember that in a million years. Now, we're going to have a look at all 4. I might have to split this into 2 because I'm recording some of it about 3/4 of an hour before I'm meant to be doing a race, so I might go on run out of time. So we're going to start off with the, not that one, the GTR4 McLaren. Now it comes with plenty of liveries. I didn't count those, but there's a few. I'm going to go in as James. Hello, James. James was actually racing in GT3 last year and this year, and it was, I think it was 21 when he was racing the GT4 570S. I think I've actually raced against him virtually. I think he was actually commentating and took the piss when he was saying I could still win a race when I think it was an unintentional piss take, but I still had to do a pit stop. I'm sure it was him that said that. Whatever. Well, the usual, have a go around Silverstone. That one there, that's up the top there. I've already done this bloody video once and the sound was so fucked on it, I couldn't be asked to keep messing about with it, so I've had to change a few settings to redo this. I don't know what it is with Raceroom, and it screws up my separate audio file for the microphone, but whatever. Setup wise, what can you do with it? It's hard tyres only. You can adjust the brake bias, which I think it's meant to have some clever electronic brake bias, automatic stuff, so you shouldn't really be able to alter that. I'm pretty sure it's ACC you can't, but I think everything else it's in you can, so it's just wide as long as it's the same for everybody, so it doesn't really make a lot of difference. Fast and slow on your damping, only rear wing. Drive you can do sort of with it other than look at the numbers and do a bit of engine reduction. You can't change the diff preload either, and I believe it's meant to have a clever electronic diff as well as the clever electronic brakes, so either they've just not put in any adjustment, I don't know. Right, well, if I remember which button to press, quick, oh shit, wrong one. Quick look round a car. That wasn't the button I meant to press, that was the button I meant to press. I always thought that was quite a nice looking little car. Compact, sleek. Slight weirdness with the camera because I'm obviously against the wall. A car or something. But yeah, nice little car. Let's see if I can remember which button to press to get back to the. Oh no, probably that one. I'm not going to mess about too much. Like I said, I race in about 40 minutes, so I'll pull my finger out as I'm the one who's meant to be running it. First impression, I think I have wound the FFB up a little bit, so, but it's got a nice firm feeling feedback. Like I said, I have wound it up, I'm pretty sure, so it's got plenty of weight to it, but loads up quite nicely, feels nice and positive on the front end. I'm not going to mess about with the traction control unless I spin the car, and the reason I'd spin the car is quite simply the slight weirdness that I have with the traction control in Raceroom when it comes to these sort of mid-engine cars especially. I don't seem to have a problem with front engine ones. The car gets to a certain point, you've lost the back end a bit, and what you really want to do is hammer in the throttle and use that to get a bit of a drift on and then try and correct it. But you can't, because it doesn't allow you to actually put the throttle on, because it's default 100%. Just won't spin anything up at all to actually allow it to drift a bit. It just basically kills the engine power, and you're stuffed. So generally speaking, you're safer with sort of probably down at 40% for the traction control. Of course, you then end up with a position whereby you can apply too much power and swing the car anyway, but it is a bit of a weirdness. I don't know whether it's because it's trying to deal with lateral and longitudinal slip at the same time with just one control or what, but whatever it is, it's a little bit of an annoyance. I didn't really notice it before until I was trying out a couple of the GT3 cars for an upcoming league, and went, that's weird, I keep spinning the damn things, and it's because it sort of gets a bit of a drift on, and then the traction control won't allow you to put the power back on. But we're meant to be talking about this car, and the fact I'm not talking about this car basically should tell you that it's pretty easy to drive, as long as you don't go over that sort of really weird little limit where it's got to the point where you sort of drift to the back end out a bit. But it's nicely planted most of the time, like I keep saying. Good front end to it. Brakes are really good. I have managed to get it to spin once on the brakes by being a bit heavy footed and sort of trying to turn in a bit too hard on the brakes, but generally speaking, as long as you're braking a reasonably straight line, it's not too much of a problem. It doesn't push too much when you try and apply the power nice and early out somewhere like there, so that's good news. Handles the curves quite nicely as well. So all in all, quite nicely balanced. See if I can avoid doing anything dumb through here. Take a big lump of curb and the little sausages on the way through there, which it seems to handle no problem at all. I've got no idea what a decent time in a GT4 car in Raceroom is, because I haven't driven any of the GT4 since probably when I was trying out the GT4 Merc at Aragon. Not Aragon. Nagaro, I think that was, wasn't it? Yeah, whichever one I did. So yeah. How well balanced they are, I don't know. They have been rebalancing them apparently.
Last lap was up to 16.56.
I don't know how that compares with the faster lap. Fastest lap I've managed. Sounds how the tyres aren't 100% up to temperature on both sides yet. One thing they've been doing is they have been sorting out the, what do you call them, the kinematics? The way the suspension is all joined together, to make sure that it's doing the right things as far as changes to camber, caster, etc., as the suspension compressors and uncompressors, so the sort of various arms, etc., work as they should do. Obviously, what happens with something like a full, what's the word I'm looking for? Twin wishbone suspension, that's the words I was looking for. Double wishbone, top and bottom. It's potentially going to do something completely different in terms of what wheels are going to do compared with something like McPherson strut, which is much more of a linear up, straight up and down, although it can do weird things as well depending upon the way the wheel is offset compared to the McPherson strut. It doesn't necessarily always translate as 100% straight line. Obviously it depends what the rake is effectively. But all in all, this is a lovely little car.
That lap was at 2:15.19. That's your quickest lap.
Thank you, Jim. That's just what I wanted to know. So yes, I like that. It's really nicely balanced. Like I said, you can still screw up slightly if you get it a bit wrong on the traction control. Gets in the way a bit, but that's only if you've really dropped it quite a lot to start with. So if you keep it in the window of where it should be driven, then it's not bad at all. Right, let's get on with it. How are we doing for time? Oh, 35 minutes. Pull your finger out. Next up is we'll do the GT2 version of the crossbow. Again, reasonable selection, not huge. Reasonable selection of liveries. We'll go for the nice pink number 19. All in all, it was £6.75 or 750 VRP for the 4 cars, which is not too bad. I think that's effectively 75% off, I think it said, which you look at it and go, hang on a minute, if that's 75% off, what the hell was the real price? Setup wise, I think we got fixed, just hard tyres, no third spring or anything. It's all just fairly straightforward. More than enough to confuse the fuck out of me, mind you, but you can actually change the preload on these. And I just did by accident. I meant to do that, not that. Gearing is about, I think gearing's the same on both the GT2 and the GTX version. I was playing with them at Paul Ricard. Yeah, on the long straight. They both hit about 181 miles an hour. The difference between the two cars is the GT2 version has about 70 brake horsepower more, but because it then has to be boxed with the other cars in the GT2 class, they then add 275 kilos of bloody lead to it to dial it back a bit. So you're thinking, well, why don't you just leave it with the GT3 power instead, like 530 odd horsepower instead of going up to 600, and then you wouldn't have had to have all that weight added to it, but whatever. I don't know if you can hear that slight weirdness in the engine note there. It's sort of got this step. I did try changing I did try verifying all the files to see if that was an issue, but it found one file that it needed to reacquire, but it didn't seem to make any difference. So just there's a little step, and then there's a bigger one later on. A little bit understeery. There. Ooh, back end getting a bit lively there. Again with that weirdness with the traction control. there, there. So yeah, there's something a bit off with the sounds, whether that's just something local or whether that's on all I don't know, but right, in terms of the car, I think I've also jacked the FFB up on this, but the main thing I found with it is it's a bit pushy on corner exits. It's got shitloads of rear end grip, but it just pushes the front. Initial turning is not bad, and if you turn in and turn in on the brakes a bit, you can get it to turn in quite nicely, but you have to turn in on the brakes to get it to really tuck the front end in. So it's, as always, you just have to work it out to drive the damn car, and it really doesn't like doing the let's change up a bit earlier. It really doesn't like it when you get on the power too early. It just pushes and pushes. So you have to be quite patient, wait till it's almost out of the corner and then try and floor it. Probably an adjustment of the traction control, or a minor adjustment to the suspension, something, toe, maybe the rake or something might sort it out, but I'm running it absolutely stock, so, and I should stop. Doesn't feel quite as nice across the lumpy bits as the McLaren did, but it's reasonably quick on the straights. It's going to be 160 something before I hit the brakes. Like I said, you have to drag it in a bit on the brakes. The extra weight on this version really doesn't do it any favours as far as sort of braking performance goes. Obviously, if you've got the same brakes but you're hauling a sort of 260 or whatever, 280 kilos of extra weight about, I think it was, it ain't.
Your lap time was 2:07.00.
It ain't a great thing to have to do, so but it's got that sort of, it feels like it goes like it's really turning in nicely, then you go and apply a little bit of power, the set of the car changes, it sort of gets the front end to lift a little bit, and you're going, oh no, come back. So it is quite similar. You can feel the DNA of like the road going crossbow and the GT4 one as well. If I remember from the last time I drove it, which was quite a while ago, I drove the road car a couple of weeks ago in a mini league, and it's a similar situation. It's got loads and loads of grip.
Okay, Alan, 10 minutes of fuel remaining.
Under acceleration, and if you want to get it to turn sort of mid-corner, you just have to lift off and let it sort of bring the back end round a little bit. We're going to drift off. Yeah, sod it. Again, that was just the front end getting a little bit away from me there. Well, it's not a bad handling car, you just have to get used to how it wants to be driven, which is very much keep it on the brakes and be patient on the power. But 206, whatever I did last lap, probably was going to shave about half a second off it, so low to mid 206 would have been what I was going to do there, but I just wish it'd show you the bloody lap. Whether it's invalid or not, just show me what I did. One of Raceroom's annoyances that really does get up my nose. It's quite a nice car drive, but you have to be very aware of the fact it's going to push on corner exit, and you have to be getting the front end loaded up as you turn in to get it to tuck the front in as much as humanly possible. Now, the GTX variant, as I said, the main difference is this has got less power, but also a lot less weight. So it should be very much a case of it should hopefully be a little bit quicker. It might make no difference to the top end, especially with fixed gearing. This, like I said, I tried it around Port Ricard, and it was exactly the same top speed. So, and as you can't adjust the gearing, you obviously can't get anything more out of the one with a bit more oomph. Whether it got to that speed a little bit quicker, might have done, because it's obviously the more power you got, the more you get to the point where the weight matters less, and it's about the overcoming the aerodynamics. Basically, the settings for the setup are damn near identical. I don't think there's a lot of difference. I don't know whether there's any difference in the spring rates, because I think it's got less weight. I haven't actually bothered to check, but all in, it should be pretty much the same. I think those gearing is the same. So let's drive it for a couple of laps. I won't bother looking around it. It's identical to the other one in terms of what it looks like. The only difference is it's got different liveries. And if there is another difference, I haven't noticed it yet. So in terms of sort of basic handling, it should feel fairly similar. It just might feel a little bit more sprightly because it's got less weight to carry around. I know it does feel slightly less understeery immediately. Whether that's because the tyres are a little bit warm still, and I'm got to heat them up again. Got the little bit of drift on as I got into the corner there. It seems to go like very much you're hitting the red line very quickly after it turns red, so it's almost as soon as that turns red you have to make sure you're hitting the oh, that was a little bit pushy. That's because I've lost temperature out of the front tyres. I'll now have to warm the tyres up again. Not sure I got the FFB quite as heavy on this as I have on the GT2 car, or whether they're the same and it's just the fact there's less weight to the car is actually making it feel a little lighter. I don't know. We'd like a little bit more overrev on the engine. I just keep forgetting to change up. Again, very pushy on the front end. I don't think it's quite as pushy as the GT2 car, but there's certainly not a lot between them realistically. Very much the same DNA, and you can feel they're very closely related. As in, they're basically the same car. One's got more weight than the other. Could have done with a bit more front wheel input there. Just about got away without any understeer there. Close to. This should be better on the brakes, so it should be a bit better on the brakes. Should be able to carry a bit more mid-corner as well because it's lighter, so it's obviously putting less stress on the tyres. So in theory, it should be a little bit quicker than the GT2 car. Again, it's got that the front end's tucking in quite nicely, and then you put a little bit of power down and it changes the attitude of the car, and suddenly you go from everything's hunky-dory and I'm getting around the corner to, oops, I'm now pushing to the outside of the corner a lot. So whether that can be dialed out, I don't know. Obviously a bit of push is safer, although some people really struggle to deal with it more than oversteer, and some people prefer it with understeer. So can we actually, again, pushing.
Your last lap time was at 2:04.3.
Can we do a better lap than that? The answer is yes, we certainly can, but whether or not we can do it right now is a different matter. It would really help if I actually changed up my time. Every time I hit the revelator, obviously losing a bit of forward momentum.
Good. 10 minutes of fuel remaining.
Thanks, Jim. Try and hold the brakes a little bit longer so we get around the corner a bit further before we hit the power, and that made a massive difference to how quickly we came out the corner. And changing up a bit sooner is always helping, so I was going to do something silly there. I was about to say, I thought I was going to do something silly there and invalidate the lap, so I invalidated the lap. I was about 1.2 up, so yeah, about 203, which is not far off what I did earlier, which is 2028. So again, it's got that same DNA where if you're not careful, you can push on the corner exit if you get on the power too early. So just a matter of working out how to drive the car, really. Again, last but definitely not least is the DPi Mazda. This again is a car by itself. Lots and lots and lots and lots of options on liveries. Kimo Bernhard, some interesting names in there. Oliver Jarvis. Who else did I say? There's a few. We'll go with Maria Garcia. Yeah, do a couple of quick laps. If I manage to do a couple of quick laps without running off the circuit and invalidating the lap time, I tried it earlier today and I did 6 laps and every single one of them were invalidated. I was like, it's just mad. Right, in terms of what's available in the setup, choice of tyres, medium or hard, third spring on front and rear, so a bit more adjustability, which is good or bad depending on how shit you are with setups, which if like me, that's just more things to get wrong. So engine maps, again, it's sitting in the middle of the engine map, so presumably you can get a bit more for qualifying, whatever. Fully adjustable gearing all the way through first to sixth and final, and fully adjustable power boost and preload for the diff. If we have a quick, if I can press the right button first time, hooray, I did. Quick look round it. Didn't mean to do that, I meant to do that. fairly similar to a lot of other LMP Le Mans prototype type cars. Obviously there's a Daytona prototype as opposed to Le Mans, but they are very similar. Not sure who's actually responsible for the chassis on this. I would have to look it up. I don't suppose it really is a Mazda chassis. Fairly clean in terms of the amount of hedgehoggery there is on it. Only a couple of dive paints on the front. Fairly clean on the back. The usual no louvers on the top of the wheels. They got rid of them a few years ago when they decided that if your tyre exploded, if it takes out all those louvers, you end up with carbon fibre splinters everywhere, which is not a clever thing to have when people are following you and they have things called tyres which can explode, and when they explode they release all their air and you lose control, and that's not good. Middle of the screen here we've got a little Motec display on the top of the dash, and that will show you when you've spun the wheels or so I'll tell you when your TC's cut in. It also lights up when you lock the wheels on the brakes, so, and with no ABS that's quite easy to do. So now the first thing you notice with this is, holy shit, it down half turning. It's so much more, I'm not sure point is the right word, it's just very much more a case of it just turns in fast. So if you've driven something fairly slow steering before you get in this, you will find yourself running curbs on the inside and probably invalidating laps left, right and centre, which is the problem I've been having when I keep jumping into it after doing two other cars. It turns nicely on exit, it doesn't push particularly, so it actually goes where you expect it to. Again, probably didn't exactly do that very well, so engine is really nice. It's got quite a wide spread of power, surprisingly wide actually, so you don't have to absolutely rag the shit out of it through each gear to get them car to perform, and it will carry bigger gears quite happily. Almost turned in too soon there. But the front end's really good on it. It sticks really nicely. You can eventually push through it and understeer. I'm gonna be, oh damn. I was about to say, I'm just about to disallow the lap because I braked too damn late. Yeah, the brakes are quite fierce. Late in the braking phase you can end up locking really easily, so probably worth toning the brake pressure down a bit. I've left it on 100%, which is probably not a bright move. And I haven't tried adjusting it backwards either to see if that helps, but it might do, it might not. We'll try a second lap and see if we can get a valid lap in. That was somewhat annoying to come out of a relatively slow corner and just not put in enough. Enough steering, basically. May have actually got the FFB up possibly one notch too high. I don't know if the lights are split to show you which wheel you're locking, whether it's front, rear, as well as left and right, or what. I haven't really paid enough attention when I'm locking the wheels to actually say one way or the other. So, right, let's see if we can get a valid lap in. Hopefully we can. You can probably go through there flat in 6th, but that was a little bit cack-handed. Alright, let's get around this corner without running wide. Oh, that was terrible. I'm just basically trying to get a valid lap in. It's not the most difficult car to drive, but it's not helped when it comes to seeing where the hell you're going because of how wide the sort of blind spot is on your left here. As you can see, the track map shows up really well because it's got a black background, but apart from that, trying to see where the apexes are, you probably want to be sitting on the dash for a better view or sit further back, depending upon whether or not you got sort of triple screen or ultra wide, super ultra wide or something like that. You'll probably be in a better position than I am sitting here. So in theory I should be able to do a 148 something, but I think I'll be more like a 1 minute 50 with this terrible lap. Oh, for Christ's sake. Should I try one more lap? Sorry, we'll try one more, and if it's if this one isn't valid, screw it. Oh, no, fuck it. It's the first time I've done that. I was just trying to hang on to the brakes far too long there. Yeah, it's all the cars are worth getting. They're all slightly different. They all have slightly different driving requirements in terms of how they want to go. Although they're all mid-rear engine. Some are pushy, some are very balanced, some are a bit dodgy on the brakes, depending upon what they're armed with. But yeah, all in all, 4 good additions to the game, and well worth the entry price. Like I said, £6.75 or 750 VRP, which some might say is expensive. I didn't think it was too bad for 4 cars. Certainly not the most expensive cars. But yeah, all in all, not bad, but they just need to be treated with the right attitude for each. So this thing's very much a case of it's very quick. So you'll have to be a bit cautious on the brakes and a bit cautious, making sure you don't overdo it on the turning. The McLaren, again, it's just the weirdness with the traction control. So if you turn the traction control down, it's not so much of an issue. You can actually get it, so you lose the back end a bit and actually recover it with a little bit of throttle, but otherwise if you can't apply the throttle, you are screwed if it's getting beyond a certain point. And the KTMs, they have their DNA, which is they're a bit pushy on corner exit, but apart from that, they're all really nice cars. So with that, I better get going because I've got 5 minutes till I'm meant to be starting a race. So, and when I say starting it, I mean I'm meant to be sorting out starting it. So I better get going. So for me, for now, enjoy your racing, have fun, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye. Where's my button?